Hi everyone, my name's Sandra. I'm a mum of two. I'm a children's entertainer and I got COVID back in September last year, 2020. I count my blessings every day and I know that I'm really lucky that I survived COVID. So what made me survive COVID? I'm not 100% certain. When I caught it last year, I was 57 and I was overweight. But that said, I was probably the fittest that I've ever been. I think possibly the fact that I was healthy worked in my favour, but maybe I didn't have it as bad as some people. Maybe the virus is caught in different degrees, you know, I don't know, different strains of COVID. But this is my story, this is what happened. I woke up mid-September and decided that it was a lovely day and that I would go fishing. By about 10:30 I started to get the most horrendous headache that then led to a migraine that came on really quickly. So by about 11:30 I decided that I ought to pack up and go home and that abandon the fishing really, because the head was just really painful. I managed to get home and have some lunch, but my head was just getting worse and worse and worse. And I said to my husband, well, maybe it's my back. If I do some Pilates in the garden, that might help just to release some of the tension. So about 20 minutes into the Pilates, this is round about 12:30, 1 o'clock time, I couldn't stand it anymore. So I took myself off to bed. For the next 24 hours, I was absolutely shivering and freezing cold. And my extremities, my hands and my feet, I literally could not warm them up. Didn't matter what I did. Had a hot water bottle, had lots of blankets on, duvets. I couldn't, socks on in bed, and my feet were absolutely freezing. I didn't have any of the other symptoms at all. So probably 2 days in to having COVID, I started to feel a lot better. After about 30 hours, my headache started to lift. After 24 hours, the shivering and everything started to go away, and I really did start to pick up. I self-isolated, so I had 10 days of rest, and whether or not this helped, I don't know. I was starting to worry at day 8 to day 10, because apparently this is where you either pick up or you can get worse. Fortunately, I picked up and I did get a lot better. So I mean, the message to people out there is this is real, it does happen. People are catching COVID and people are genuinely dying. So for all of you COVID deniers, you really do need to get a grip out there and you need to start complying with the rules and regulations. So although I've been one of the lucky ones and that I did recover within a 3-day period, it actually took me 5 months to recover fully and get back to my full fitness levels. It was torture really for somebody like me. I'm a really active person and I never ever sit down from the moment that I get up until the moment that I drop down in front of the TV to just chill, because I'm so exhausted from the day's activities. What COVID did for the next 5 months was totally debilitating. I wasn't able to walk short distances without being out of breath. And if I overdid it on a particular day, I would really suffer for not the next day or the next day, but it could be a week or even a fortnight where I'd just have low energy to none, where I just couldn't even get off the sofa to do anything. And for somebody like me that was so active, I just found that so depressing. So it did affect my mental health. And at the time, I wasn't sure what was happening. I started to not be able to sleep on an evening either, and I was having problems with my heart, or so I believed. Shortness of breath, panic attacks at the night time, and my heart rhythm changing when I laid down. So I genuinely believe, because my dad's had 2 heart bypass operations, and during COVID he actually had to have a pacemaker fitted. So I just thought that perhaps there was something wrong with my heart. At this point, I didn't know that I'd had COVID. I just believed that I'd had either a really nasty cold or I'd got away with light flu symptoms. So you can imagine my concern that I couldn't walk very far without being not only exhausted but hardly able to breathe. The other thing was as well, I had what was known as brain fog. So I genuinely started to believe over a 3-week period that I'd got the onset of Alzheimer's, basically. It probably took me about 5 weeks, having all of these symptoms, to actually go and see the doctor and tell the doctor that I'd had this really bad cold or flu-like symptoms, and that I'd tracked everything back to that actual moment. So all of these symptoms started to happen after that attack. So I told her that I thought I'd had this cold, really bad cold, but that I was concerned that maybe I was having heart problems, or that I genuinely was starting with Alzheimer's. She did a number of tests, a lot of blood tests. They all came back positive, not positive, well, positive in that there was nothing wrong with me. But one of the tests came back and it did say that I'd had COVID. So I was really surprised to hear that. And I wouldn't really want anyone to suffer the way that I did in those 5 months, because it just mentally was torture for me. And it was horrible not knowing the outcome, whether I would get back to my normal fitness levels or whether this was for life. And then starting to worry about the internal damage, you know, listening to everything on the TV, and, you know, whether this was more long term for me. So, yeah, I wouldn't advise anyone out there getting COVID if you can help it. So stay safe, everyone. I've got nothing more to say apart from I hope and I wish and I pray that this thing is over really soon, and that, well, just God bless to everybody. Stay safe, abide by the rules and regulations. They're there to keep everybody safe, and nobody is exempt, nobody, not even you guys.